Hello all, it is I, the Deep Diver here with a new video. And I want to go over one of the biggest inspirations for my first two books. The one I have out, Looking Inwards for a Better Life, subtitle, How from the Heart. And my upcoming one, Dump Come Pray, subtitle, Roar from the Soul. Well, you see, one of my biggest influences was from an unlikely source, which inspiration, creativity, the spark of it, no one knows where it comes from. So whenever you have it, you should seize it, in my opinion. And the main influence of my books, the first two at least, was the samurai Miyamoto Musashi. Now, who is Musashi? He was a samurai. And he was a phenom, an X factor, if you will. He had fought nearly 50 to 70 battles per se before he even turned 30, which led him to write his book, the first book, Book of Fire Rings, at 30, which is just fascinating to me. This man had lived through one of the most tumultuous times in human history during Japan, where it was all power vacuums and seizing, controlling, and warfare at all ends, all eras. No one was safe. Peasants, merchants, and even the samurai. And it came down to it, it was Musashi who made the difference. He didn't want to be controlled by others. He wanted to live his life. He wasn't a weapon. He could be so much more than that. And he was also a Buddhist, too, which I think helped lead him to this path. And he had done something pretty insane at the time, something unheard of. You see, you could think of samurai as like government employees or bodyguards. They held their own offices. They had their own castles and other forms and other titles given to them by their lords or daimyos, shoguns at the time. And they were made to fight and kill on their behalf. And Musashi had lived his life up to about his 30s, living for others, I believe. He got sick of it. He's like, I want to live this life my way. I want to make a difference in my life. So he foregoed nearly all forms of human contact or the ideas of honor, which I think were shackling the samurai class indefinitely. And he didn't want that. He threw them off. He wanted to be his own man. And a ronin is a rogue samurai, a samurai with no lord, which at the time was very rare. Most ronin were seen as vagabonds, or trash, or lesser for it. But Musashi was the one who proved them wrong. With his two swords, he made a stand. He sent a message. He'll die on his blade for him, no one else, and it's just beautiful. And at the time, he didn't partake in a lot of things. He didn't want family. He didn't want community, really. He wanted to just live his life. His connection to this world would be severed when he chose to. And the greatest thing, I believe, his greatest accomplishment, besides his books we still read today, which I'll get on later, he died of old age, along with some other complications, but still old age. Think about that. He fought nearly 100 battles or so, and he died by old age. That is so fascinating. It's funny, his own humanity, his mortality is what got him. And I bet he turned that anxiety, that fear, into something more. He transformed, he transmuted it. He evolved it. He accepted it. And when you accept something, good or bad about yourself, you can change it. You can evolve it. You can control it, which he did. And his Book of Five Rings really helped me on my journey. I remember I was reading a manga called I Shield 21, which is a football manga. I'm not a big fan of football. That doesn't matter here. And I remember reading it, and there's a character nicknamed Musashi. And I'm like, okay, cool, just a nickname. But then I see one of those innocuous little squares, that help people from the West like myself kind of get where the Japanese and their culture are coming from. And it talked about the legendary samurai Miyamoto Musashi, who fought over tons of battles, and I thought it made me answer the most fundamental, life-changing question I could ever do at my young age. Who is Miyamoto Musashi? And then I led myself down that path. I wanted to make things my way. I wanted to live my life. Even when people around me made that very hard, very difficult, but that's a story for another day. And I start with the Book of Five Rings, which just blatantly talks about combat in the most sophisticated, nuanced, and simple terms. There wasn't some magic. There wasn't some secret technique. It was who was better, who was stronger. Because in Musashi's mind, strength was the only thing that matters in this world. Everything else is an illusion. And he chose not to partake. And he wielded two swords. Two. With his two swords, one heaven fighting style, which he didn't invent, but he popularized it. He's like the most well-known practitioner. And he was known to take out any weapon against his two swords. His style it aided him. He knew what he had to do. He'd keep them on the run. And it's just fascinating that he used this very unique style, which is very hard. I have a love for swords as well, and getting them just right takes a while, a long time, and getting two to that level, he was virtually invincible when it came to fighting, and he proved it. He didn't die until he wanted to, till the world chose for him, till his body gave out. And it really shows me the idea of battles in the body, but wars in the mind. I imagine he was scared sometimes or terrified, but he learned to take that energy and put it elsewhere. A type of alchemy for his advantage. It was a good thing to see. And he chose how he reacted. And he knew hesitation is defeat. He never hesitated. He's got one shot. He's got one chance. He has to make it count. There are no redos. There's no starting over. There's no extra lives in the game of life, no matter what anybody tells you. And he knew that. He's like, I'm not going to lie to myself. I'm not going to cheat myself. And he was so unorthodox that he made it to his favor. His uniqueness, from what I can gather, somewhat standoffish nature and him following his way. And he really did my first book. He really made my first book fleshed out by him. He's my hero. Even to this day, so long ago, I still look up to him. He really changed my life for the better, and I couldn't be happier for it. And yeah, he didn't want to be popular. He didn't want to be part of a weak society. He didn't want to give in to it. It was him against the world. He knew it. And it wasn't just his first book, Book of Five Rings, that changed me. Later on in college, I remember reading his second book, Dakota, The Art of Walking Alone, which I might be butchering pretty bad. I'm sorry for anybody listening for that. And it just put it blatantly out there, what life's about. He gives certain tenets. And my first book, which I have right here, Looking Inwards for Better Life, was based on the idea from that said book: consider yourself lightly, consider the world deeply. Which is a phenomenon I'm seeing today with podcasts, interviews, authors, scientists, what have you, trying to make a difference by going deeper. The truth is, society has always been shallow. It's always been shallow. And he knew that. He wanted to go deeper. Because going deeper saved his life, just like me. It saved my life too. And that's kind of the book. It starts off with society and moving down to the individual. It's your life, your dreams and aspirations, no one else's. And a lot of people want other people to live their lives and their dreams, and I don't believe in that. I can't. I've been, taken advantage of and abused just like everybody else. It happens, and I can admit I kind of led myself there in certain places. What was my fault? And it's not everything somebody's fault. Sometimes, very rarely, it's somebody else's. We have to understand that we're not criminal. But majority of the time, it is your problem. It is your trouble. And I'm rewriting my first book with that idea that I evolved my, inner sadness from my life, all the bad, terrible things that happened to me for the last number of years, just everything at once, and how I could choose to wallow in my misery, put a seed of malice, or just be destitute, but I choose not to. It's what I choose. I'm trying to make my life better, trying to be good, and I think that's a constant battle, and a lot of people want to give up. Now, to be fair, people always go toward the easiest method, just like a lightning bolt, path of least resistance, which I like lightning. That's kind of my element, electricity. But I think if you do that too much, it will short circuit, or you won't be able to do it. And my first book really tries to get that. I'm rewriting it with the idea of you, my viewer. And it will be more personal. Because I'll go into this in another video by making a second edition. And the next book, Don't Become Prey, was based off another tenet from Dakota, The Art of Walking Alone, where it said, it's this quote, this saying, has saved my life. I'm not even joking when I say this. I'm being 100% honest. Do not regret a parting whatsoever. Something along that lines. Whereas a lot of us hold on to these ideas or these, ineffectual beliefs. Like, to be fair, no one's going to hold on a belief that doesn't support them. Like, let's say there's a beautiful woman. She'll think that beautiful women will pay for her meals and will find ways to justify and make that reality. And it serves her. Now, if she's with somebody else and they don't do it, that's their belief that hot girls don't deserve free meals. See, it's not really binary. There's so much balance needed, so much different ideas going around. You can't possibly be on the same page every time, but we've got to at least try, I believe. And I'm always ready to leave. As sad as that sounds, it's just, my grandma told me to always have a suitcase packed, and it took me a while to get that one, because if I'm not getting help or supported, and it's just like trouble, which I know several people in my life who are nothing but walking contradictions, who just cause trouble and seem to like it, seem to relish the drama. Like, I don't want to do this. I'm good. You do you. Pass or fail, succeed or not, that's on you. Live your life. Because that's what I've been told a lot, like, live your life. And when I try to live my life, it's a problem, but somebody else doesn't. And I'm tired of these double standards of this. My Don't Become Prey book is more aggressive. Not involving cuss words or anything too explicit, for the most part. But my first book, when I wrote it, was much more angry, much more vicious. I was pouring in my rage and anger into it from, again, numerous instances of life cheating me or making me feel unwanted. Which is what my book was trying to do was make just a mean book. But I thought to myself, there's enough meanness in the world. And I don't want to do that, really. Not deep down. And I looked deeper into myself, and I'm not really evil or sick. I'm just hurt, which I think a lot of us are. And how we do to heal that is a different story. I don't think a lot of people want to be healed, which is causing a lot of problems. They just want everything to fit their life. And this whole everybody's a king idea, everybody has to win, is just a fallacy, a ridiculous notion. No, not everybody deserves to win. And to think in such a thing as equality of opportunity is okay, in my opinion. Everybody gets a chance. No. Where the real problem comes is equal outcomes, which you can't promise. You can't guarantee. If I do something I don't succeed, that's on me. That's it. Straightforward. There's no bribing or trying to shortcut. No. It's not good. It's not right. And for people to think otherwise is just sad, which I think we're running out of fantasies or the time to be able to do it. And Musashi knew that. He saw himself as a warrior, not a hero or a villain. He's like, this is my duty. This is my goal. I'm going to see it through. So yeah, good times. Good times. So I'll now cover more about my book stuff. I've been kind of spiraling in other places, and I'm trying to get back on brand. So thank you for your time. Like, share, and subscribe. Have a nice day.